Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to this old Playhouse Final Edition Part 4. We're going to wrap this thing up today with doing some roofing panels. These are some tufftex panels that I got at the local Blue home improvement store. And they come in 8-foot sections. So we have 64 inches front to back because with our slope, we want these grooves, so when they catch water, to slope down to the back. So we're going to run them long ways. They're a little over 2 feet wide. So I'm going to cut them to 70 inches, so I have a 3-foot overhang on the front and back. The cool thing about them, you can just cut them with a utility knife. You can also cut them with tin snips. If you were cutting a bunch of them, you can cut them with a circular saw if you use a fine-tooth plywood blade and you set that blade in there backwards. That's a whole heck of a lot of work for only having to cut 3 panels. We're just going to use the utility knife. So once you score it, just kind of lift up on it. It snaps pretty easy. Just watch it as you're going. These things are pretty resilient, but I assume if you just try to manhandle them in half, they will break. See here, we're still catching a little bit, so we're just going to re-hit. Voila. I just used a new blade, brand new, nice and sharp. Didn't give me any problems at all. So cutting 3 of them this way wasn't bad at all. Okay guys, this is where you're going to need a ladder. It's going to be pretty helpful for you. One thing that I didn't show you, just because I totally forgot to film it, is for these tufftex roof panels, they recommend them being installed with 3-foot centers. Just meaning you have some supports on there because they are a relatively thin panel. So I came here midway through our 5, ran one all the way across, and it's a little tough to see, but you can see this one right here and that one right here. I have them cut in half, and they're just slightly offset by the width of a 2x4, screwed directly into this, and then angle cut to go into our roof line boards. So go ahead, get these panels up, and then what I'm going to do, whether it's right or not, I'm going to put the ones on each end first, and then overlap them in the middle. So if it's not windy when you're doing it, you probably don't need a clamp. I'm going to just put just a little bit of a clamp helper on this, just because we do have a little bit of a breeze going on today. So the manufacturer recommendations on this, or I guess not even recommendations, the specifications, they say to install it here on the top for when you're doing it on a roof. And the reason that probably is because when it rains and water hits it, they're going to go down into the valleys and drain that way. The screws that we need to use, for whatever reason, at my store that I shop at, they only had the 1-inch in stock. They're a washer with a neoprene washer, and the 1-inch is just not going to cut it for me, screwing it down from the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and install them in the valley. It's just a Playhouse. If a little bit of water seeps through there, eventually when that rubber gasket wears out, I'm not too worried about it. So their pre-drill specifications are just through the roofing panel, at least 1/8 inch bigger hole to be drilled than the size of the screw itself. And you're not driving these things all the way home. You want to make sure that they are snug but not overly tight. So just like that. The one other thing that they recommend to use is this trim piece here for the front and back. This is going to help take up that gap and make it a little more watertight. They sell a wood version of it and a foam version of it. I went with the wood version. I don't know why, it just seemed right. But that's something you can do or not do. They're 6-foot sections, they're only like $5, so I figured, why not? Okay guys, we have each of our end panels on, and the middle they recommend having 1 full lap. My lap only comes halfway into here, just because of the size of it, them being a little over 2-foot panels. I thought they were 2.5 feet. They're more like 2 foot 4 inches, so I'm not going to run out and spend an extra $18 just to lap them better because it is only a Playhouse. So just like I do for everything else, when you can't hack it, just dap it. I'm just going to run some caulking up this on both sides just to try to help shore up that seam a little bit. And while I have it out, I'm also going to go ahead and put it on my trim piece there as well. Might as well. this brings an end to this old playhouse journey. We have the roof on, everything is in there. I do wish the door was a little bit smaller. I may go back and eventually add a half door to it, like a gate or something like that. But for now, it's just gonna stay as is. We're gonna let the kids pick out some colors. We'll paint it a nice neutral color on the outside, and they can paint it as loud as they want on the inside. But for now, we get to say goodbye to our little playhouse and hello to our upgraded kid castle, is what I've been told it's called. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I'll have a full description of all the materials that I used, updated and corrected, in the description below this. So feel free to make your own. I definitely came in under $400. It was closer to $390, so I was about $20 over what I originally had thought I would be at, but overall, that's a pretty good win. So kids, have at it. You can get rid of that old playhouse and start playing in the new. Thanks, guys. See ya.